Hello everyone, it's me Samuel Taylor Ackroyd and welcome back to my channel. Right now I am at New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport and today I am going to be flying to Frankfurt Airport with Lufthansa in economy on board one of their Boeing 747-400s. So let's get started. International carriers like Lufthansa, Turkish Airlines, Korean Airlines, Swiss, Air France, Eurowings, and a few more operate from Terminal 1 at JFK Airport. The check-in area is easy to get around with plenty of clear signage so you know where to check in for your flight. There is also a food court just upstairs so you can grab a bite to eat before security. Lufthansa used check-in desk G for golf. Check-in was very quick and easy and the staff were extremely friendly and helpful. Normally I would check in online, but there was a technical problem with checking in for this flight, so I had to go to the check-in desk. Once that was done, I made my way to security, which took roughly 15 to 20 minutes to clear. There are a few lounges at Terminal 1, such as the Turkish Airlines Lounge, Korean Airlines Lounge, and Air France Lounge. There are also a few shops to grab yourself a snack and drink, as well as buy any last-minute items and souvenirs. There isn't really a lot of restaurants, but there are a few places to get a bite to eat. There is also a bar. Now, if you're an aviation enthusiast just like me, then you will definitely enjoy the wonderful views of wide-body aircraft. Here is our aircraft pulling up to Gate 3 after arriving on its inbound flight from Frankfurt. A little tip, if your aircraft is parked at Gate 3 at JFK Airports Terminal 1, then move to Gate 5 to get some views of the aircraft. The aircraft taking me to Frankfurt is this 25-year-old Boeing 747-400 registered as Delta-Alpha Bravo Victor Mike. This is the 1,143rd 747 ever built by Boeing. The aircraft performed its first flight on January 28, 1998 and was delivered on February 7, 1998. Now that the boarding process has started, let's get on board the 747 and get ready for our flight to Frankfurt. Economy class passengers boarded through the second door located behind the business class cabin. Behind that is the premium economy cabin, which is laid out in a 2-4-2 configuration. And behind that is the main economy cabin, which is laid out in a 3-4-3 configuration. My seat on this flight is seat 39 Alpha. At my seat waiting for me was a blanket, pillow, and a bottle of water. The crew also came around handing out earphones, but I saved the ones from the outbound flight a few days earlier. Just like on the outbound flight, the earphones were handed out while the safety video was being shown, which is rather illogical considering that the safety video is something that the crew should want everyone to listen to, and they could have also been left at the seats waiting for the passengers, like the blanket and pillow. Anyway, we are now pushing back from gate 3, and this is where some problems started. We were pushing back while people were still standing. There was a group of people travelling together, and they were pestering the flight attendants about having people switch seats so they could sit together. They obviously didn't pay for seat selection, and as a result, they were assigned seats that weren't all together. Once the fasten seatbelt sign was off, they can move around the cabin and chat to one another, but the group decided to make things hard by not sitting down and pestering the flight attendants. There was definitely some frustration building up as we were all wanting to get on our way to Frankfurt, but this group was disrupting the flight and causing a longer delay. One passenger even swore at the group and told them to sit down in a rather aggressive way. This resulted in a few people looking behind them to look at who shouted, but I don't think anyone really blamed him because we were all feeling it. He was just the one to say it. Eventually, the group of people causing the situation did sit down, and we were finally able to taxi to runway 13 right for departure. We departed from runway 13 right 50 minutes behind schedule at 5:45 p.m. Right after lifting off the runway, we turned southwest to fly over Far Rockaway before banking left to fly over the North Atlantic Ocean towards Frankfurt. Soon after takeoff, one of the flight attendants came around the cabin asking a few people if they would maybe prefer to sit in another seat, so that those irritating passengers could sit together. However, when I was asked, I told them that I had paid for seat selection and wasn't willing to move. I could tell the flight attendant didn't actually want to ask that, but she did a great job at keeping her cool, as did the other crew members. Eventually, all the commotion came to an end and the flight continued normally after that. Now let's have a look at the seat. The legroom is brilliant for someone who is roughly 6 feet tall. There is a seat back pocket which contained an in-flight shopping magazine and can also be used to store personal belongings. The tray table is a very good size and can extend, but only slightly. It also has a few cup holders, including one you can use when the tray table isn't even extended, which definitely comes in handy. Underneath the in-flight entertainment system, there is a safety card, onboard delights menu, and a sickness bag. Here is a look at the safety card. The selection on the onboard delights menu is limited, but just like on the outbound flight, it didn't really matter as the crew didn't ask the passengers if they wanted to buy anything from the onboard delights menu. The selection of things to buy from the in-flight shopping magazine is very good. When watching stuff on the in-flight entertainment system, remember that you might have to close your window to try limit the reflection on the screen. There is a USB port at the side of the IFE system so you can charge your personal devices. There is a coat hook just to the left of the IFE system. The selection of movies, TV shows, music, games and kids stuff is absolutely brilliant, and you will definitely find something to keep you entertained. You can also control the reading light through the IFE system, as well as get the attention of the flight attendants thanks to the call button. And of course, there is also a move-in map, which definitely entertains us AvGeeks. The bathrooms on board were clean and in good working order, except for the fact that one of the bathrooms didn't have water coming from the tap. Keep in mind that some of the bathrooms don't have a baby changing table. The crew came around the cabin with the first drink service, and I opted for a cup of Sprite. There was also a dinner service, but I wasn't hungry, so I skipped the dinner service. Enjoy these shots I got of the sun setting. Fast forward a few hours, the crew came around the cabin handing out hot towels. Roughly 20 minutes later, they came around with a breakfast service. For breakfast, I was given a marble loaf and a fruit salad, which were very nice and enjoyable. Since it was dark outside, there wasn't really much visible while descending, so let's skip to the landing clip. We landed onto Frankfurt Airports Runway 25 Center at 5:32 a.m., which is 17 minutes behind schedule. Despite the disruptive passengers, this experience with Lufthansa was very good. Check-in was very easy and the staff were very helpful. The check-in agent also asked me if I wanted to check in my carry-on bag into the cargo hold for free, which I declined as I prefer to have my carry-on bag with me. The seats were very comfortable and laid out very well. The selection of things to watch on the IFE system was also excellent. The crew on this flight were very friendly and professional. They definitely did a great job at staying calm during a tough situation with disruptive passengers. During the flight, I also ended up having a conversation with some of the crew members and told them about me taking this trip so that I could fly on board the Boeing 747-400, which they were very enthusiastic about. In fact, during boarding, one of them saw me filming and politely asked me not to film the crew. Normally, if the crew don't want you filming, they wouldn't want you filming anything and sometimes even get rather aggressive, but this flight attendant probably could tell that I was filming a trip report on the 747 and just let me film my experience because she knew that there will be some people, like me, wanting to film the experience on board the 747. Now on to the price I paid for this flight. I paid £296.76 for the economy light fare, which is the cheapest fare on any Lufthansa flight. The economy light fare entitles you to travel with one carry-on bag and a meal on board. I also paid an extra £27.47 to select seat 39 Alpha. This means I paid a total of £324.23 for this flight. That is definitely a great price to pay for a flight between the United States and Germany, and this flight was definitely worth every penny. What made my experience better was being allowed to visit the flight deck after we parked at the gate. A massive thanks to the pilots for letting me visit the flight deck, especially the captain who let me sit in his seat and took this photo of me in the captain's seat. Unfortunately, my time on board this 747 was coming to an end as it was time for me to disembark the aircraft. And that concludes my trip from New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport to Frankfurt with Lufthansa. Right now I am waiting for my connecting flight back home to Edinburgh, which will be in a future trip report. Thank you all so much for watching this trip report. Stay safe and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.